Hey guys, what's up? So today is day 22 in Everyday Videos in January, and today I thought I'd do my top 6 favorite shows slash concerts because I know Donovan had done his favorite concert and his least favorite concert. So you know what? I thought I'd do this too. Sorry if I can't get the lighting right. Let's see. I don't know. Let's just go with that. So at number 6, we're gonna go with the Tooth and Nail tour that came, I believe, in 2006. The lineup consisted of Joan Jett, who I love, and I think they broke up, which is a shame because they were really good. Next up, we had the Classic Crime, because Joan Jett was more of a dancey pop rock band, and then Classic Crime was more like a pop, I guess a heavier pop rock band. And then came The Fold, which is another pop rock band, and then the two headliners, and they would switch off, I think, every show, but it was Anberlin and Emery, and it wasn't the craziest show ever, but it was such a sick tour, and what I liked about it, it was the last show on that tour. So you know when you go to shows and it's the last date, usually there's a lot of hijinks and pranks and stuff. I remember the Classic Crime came out and they were wearing like costumes, because I think it was on Halloween too. It might have been Halloween, I don't remember, but I remember they were wearing animal costumes. One guy was wearing a bee costume and the other one had a dinosaur thing on his head. It was pretty cool. What I remember most about this, well, there's a couple things. Anberlin, I remember I had seen them previously, and when I previously saw them, I always thought, well, when I saw them, I thought they were just okay live, because I always liked them, but I thought they were okay. And this was right before Cities came out, and I remember they came out, they had a light setup, they had these lights on the floor. It was crazy, I believe the singer had grown his hair out, and it was a very rock star looking performance by them. It was very good. They played a good set of songs. It was awesome, and Emery was insane. I love Emery. I remember in this club they had a little there's a little second floor area, and I remember the keyboardist climbed up to the top and started doing walls at the end with the screaming at the end. It was insane. Great show. At number 5, we're gonna go with this was a long time ago. This was back in, I think, 2001, and this was Face to Face. They headlined. They're a punk band. This lineup was amazing. Check this lineup now because, well, check this lineup because all the bands that were on this show, they all pretty much headline shows now. So the opening band was the Alkaline Trio. This was, I think, back when they only had one album or 2 albums out. I actually hadn't even heard of them when I saw them. I remember talking to the singer, because this was way before they got big, and I remember we were talking about his tattoo, because he had a cover-up, he covered up one of his tattoos. I remember him talking about it. It was really cool. And this was back in the day when you could talk to bands, not like now when you go see a band, it's they have dressing rooms and shit. It's different. But it was Alkaline Trio, then it was Saves the Day, and this was right as Through Being Cool was out. Their next album was about to come out, and they were pretty good. I remember they had gotten into a car accident. I remember the singer, one of the guitar players had all of his front teeth knocked out. It was crazy. Then it was New Found Glory, who were locals, but they always pretty much headlined every show they played. And this was right around when the first cover album came out, the From Your Screen to Stereo. And Face to Face headlined. It was an amazing show. It was an outdoor type of thing. I remember my friends, they always had some way of getting on stage, so I was on the side of the stage. Well, I was in the front the entire time for the first 3 bands, and then Face to Face came out, and I remember my friend got me to go on stage on the side, and I remember there was this guy that was in a band called Milkshed at the time, and I remember he gave me a flyer for his thing, and he's like, "Hey man, go up there and give it to Trevor," which was the singer of Face to Face. And I literally went up on stage and gave it to him in front of everybody. It was insane. That was a really good show, and it's funny how all the opening bands are now headliners. It's crazy. So that was number 5. Number 4, we got the Life on the Ropes tour, which Sick of It All was the headliners, but the opening band was Indecision. Next up was Hot Water Music, then AFI, and then Sick of It All. Now this was also I think this was 1999, so this was way before AFI even got big. This was like when he was doing the white face paint and he had like a blue like front hair streak thing. It was crazy. This show, I remember this was the first time they had a show at this club, and it was the last. This show was full of skinheads. This was probably the only real hardcore show I ever went to. It was mad dangerous. The pit was insane. I remember they tore up the club, all the skinheads, after the show. It was just ridiculous. That was my first time ever heard or seeing Hot Water music, and they were awesome, so passionate. AFI was awesome. Davey was like doing some like backspin kicks, and it was crazy. And Sick of It All, we ended up talking to the singer of Sick of It All, nicest guy ever in a band who's in a hardcore scary band. Awesome. So that's number 4. At number 3, we're gonna go with this was also back in 2002. This is Strung Out. They had a headlining tour, and this tour featured Rufio as the opening act, which is like a technical pop punk band, Rise Against, and Glass Eater, which was a local band, and then Strung Out headlined. Now, the reason this show stands out so much to me, because this was right around the time I got into Rise Against. I remember I was in Canada, my cousin got me into them, and I always thought they were amazing, told all my friends about them. And then they finally came with Strung Out, and this is before anybody had heard of them. This is, like I said, the first album. Literally, the show consisted of like maybe 40 people tops. There was about like 11 people watching Rise Against, and this was before he was playing guitar in the band. This is when he would just sing and scream. And I remember, like, they played about like 8 or 9 songs, and I was literally the only person singing along to any of his words. I remember he saw me, and I remember every time he was singing, he would put the mic right to me, and I would sing. It was an amazing moment. Like, I did it probably like good 5-6 times. I remember they closed with Six Ways Until Sunday or something like that. I think that's a song. And it's got a lot of chants in the end, and I remember he kept putting the mic on me. It was so awesome. They were amazing, and now they are basically headliners. And this show was cool too, because I got to see Glass Eater, who was a local band. Never got to see them, and they were great. And Strung Out, of course, you know. At number 2, we got Face to Face again. They had another headlining tour. This was like, I think, 2002 as well. This tour was amazing. It was like 4 bands that I loved at that moment, and the opening band was Thrice. This is when Illusion of Safety just came out. Amazing. I'm sad they only got to play like 7 songs, but they were good. And then The Movie Life played afterwards, which they are now broken up, but they were amazing, full of energy. And then Midtown played, which is this band. Absolutely loved this album. This is when they put out this album, just came out, and they were so good. I love them. They played like a shitload of songs. I think they played almost every song from like this album, actually. I don't remember, but so good. And then Face to Face, I always loved them since I was like in 7th grade, and the fact that I was able to see them twice within like a 2-year span was insane. Such a good show. And my number 1 favorite show of all time, this was back in 2006, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's 06. No, it's 05, it says right here. And I actually have the little postcard for the tour, and it's the Fuel by Ramen and Friends tour. And this was in 2005. This lineup was sick. Opening was Paramore. This is when it was just, they didn't have an album out yet. It was just Haley and, I think it was Josh. It was just them 2 playing acoustic guitar. This one they only had Here We Go Again on their MySpace. And then it was Gym Class Heroes, The Academy Is, Silverstein, and then Fall Out Boy. And this was when Take This to Your Grave was out. I think From Under the Cork Tree was coming out like a month later, and they only played they played Sugar We're Going Down and Dance Dance. And they played Nobody Puts Baby in the Corner. Those are the only songs they had played from that album. The rest was pretty much this entire album. Amazing show. I actually remember before the show, the Academy Is and Gym Class Heroes were playing in a record store that was about 10 minutes from the club, and literally there was about 15 people there. It was so awesome. Such a great show. The lineup was insane. Like, those 5 bands were like amazing. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Those are my top 6 shows I've ever been to. Hopefully you thought this was interesting, and I'll see you tomorrow.